Please show me the way, baby, to your heart. Please show me the way, baby, to your heart. And nothing is better for me to be with you. And nothing is better for me, nothing is better. Baby, show me some love songs, 'cause tonight I wanna fall in love. You told me you love me too. I wanna believe you, and I'm ready to fall, and I'm ready to fall.
Hello my soul family, welcome to day 3 of this Lightworker University special event 2020. Woo, it's been quite a journey, and I hope that you've been enjoying these messages and that it's really been uplifting you and motivating and inspiring you, because that's the whole purpose behind this event. It's only to uplift each other. So today on day 3 we are on the topic of love, the one that we've all been waiting for, because I'm going to talk about everything when it comes to love. What is love? Do you know how to love? How do we love? And why love, right? Because love is the answer to everything. And I know that this is a cliche, because we all say love is the answer, love is the way. There is only love, one love. But do you really know what love means at the core? That's where some people get confused and create misunderstandings, create delays on their journey, and self-sabotage, right? Because love is pretty simple, yet the most difficult thing at the same time. Because true love is unconditional. True love can forgive. True love can see the truth, right? Can see right through you, can feel, and can have compassion as to that person. And I'm not talking about only romantic, intimate love. That's a whole nother story, which we're gonna get into today. But that's definitely a topic that I want to leave for a special show called the Love Show, because love embodies so many things. And it's shocking to see how many people crave and want love, yet are so far from it. And this is of course not everybody, but a lot of the times it's also when we need to distinguish a lesson from a soul union, right? It's very difficult to articulate, because love has many different meanings, right? And love can be given a different meaning depending on who you're with. So love is very subjective, love is very diverse, and love is very expansive. And whatever love means to you, we should always remember that it is unconditional. And this is how we distinguish healthy love from unhealthy love, right? This is how we can tell true love from a codependent love, or a toxic love for that matter. Because true love sees no faults, sees only mistakes, sees no wrongs, but only sees the correction, okay? Now I know that can be triggering, because that's why we're not all enlightened beings, right? If we were enlightened, we wouldn't be here. Okay, that's the truth. If we were enlightened, we would be in heaven, okay? We would not be here physically manifested. So nobody is perfect at love. We all have to learn something about love. And the closer that we can get to true, infinite, and finite love, which that's kind of like the crossing line as to where this becomes enlightening, right? Transcendent. Like Osho talks about when he talks about Tantra and spiritual love. This is the kind of love that he's talking about. He's not talking about flesh love. He's not talking about love based on judgments. Like we talked about on day one, equality, right? All of these things that people discriminate or bully or stereotype against means that they're out of a love vibration. Because love is just that. It's a vibration. It's an energy. And when we're in this love space, we see nothing but love. Only light, only perfectness. Because we are all perfect the way that we are, even when we make mistakes. And of course, we can fall out of alignment when we make mistakes. And this is where we move closer to the other spectrum, which is fear, ego. And then we lose touch with our innate self, which is love. Because we are all born out of love, right? When two parents make love and make a child, that's love. Whether or not that relationship worked out afterwards, when they were in that situation, they were in love. And of course, there's exceptions to this rule. But that's the majority of the cases, right? Everybody has loved at some point or another. Whether it be your pet, whether it be your child, your sibling, your parents, or an actual lover. So we all have some experience to draw from as we listen to this message today. Because I want you to reflect on and honestly ask yourself, am I really loving? Is this really love what I feel? Have I expressed this love as genuinely as possible? And do my inner feelings of love match my outer expressions of love? Right? Because that's where also some people kind of fall off the path, right? Or just simply are not expressing of love. And that's just a closed heart chakra. And if we're all to embody and radiate this love, think like a heart bursting with love and light. We need to have an open heart chakra, right? But many people walk around with unforgiveness, with bitterness and resentment from the past. And that's taking you so far away from this beauty of love. Whether it be a new love, whether it be love with yourself, or whether it be love with God, right? There is always something to love. So don't ever fall into this victimhood mentality or helplessness like we talked in day 2, that you're not lovable or that you can't love. Because we are all lovable. Because guess what? We're all born from God's love. And He brought us here on earth with love. And He always loves us every step of the journey. So there's no reason why you should be thinking otherwise. And it really hurts God's feelings when we think that way, because it's kind of like when a parent, right, is watching their child make a mistake. And they've given all of their love to raise that child the right way, right? Give them the right things, shield them the right way, teach them the right lessons in the most loving way. And yet they see their child go through these mistakes, and there's nothing that they can do about it because it's the child's free will, right? The most that they can do is guide them, but they can't force them. They can punish them all they want. They can put them on timeout. They can ground them. They can take away their privileges. But is that really going to change the child's intentions? No. Eventually, it has to be intrinsically motivated from their own self. And this is how God is with us. God sees us make mistakes, but there's nothing that He can do about it. It's not like He can just put a magic wand, or like Zeus, like the mythology, and just shift your life and make you go in the right direction. It's not how it works. Because then it wouldn't be free will, you see. Then it would be a bondage. And God is not controlling. God is loving and guiding. So if we learn to love ourselves is when we can truly learn to love another, right? Love thy neighbor like thyself is what Jesus said. And this is about embodying self-love, which is one of the main topics of my new Utamic Intensive Soul Coaching program. So definitely purchase that program. It's going to help you for the next 10 weeks. How to embody these certain qualities that you need to heal from the inside out, to transform once and for all into your new higher self. So that you can begin to attract this new world and reality for yourself, for those around you, and for those in your future. And learning the truth, the true meaning of love, is what's also going to change everything when it comes to our relationships. No longer are we going to have these petty dramas or petty resentments or grudges against our partner or past partners who did harm or who made you feel a certain way, but you were both immature. It could be any scenario, right? But if you hold on to any sort of grudge, that's when you're just closing your heart even further. And that's when people build up walls, and these walls that get built up over time eventually get very difficult to bring down. Because then you ask yourself, I don't even know where I started. I have all these walls around my heart. I forgot how to love. I forgot how to express my love. I don't know anymore because I've been so far away from it for far too long. And now I have no idea how to let my guard down. Because it's become innately a part of that you now, right? And this is the old self that has formed that we need to let go of. Little by little, we need to start removing every single layer of protection or defensiveness that we've put over our heart, over the broken heart, right? It's kind of like trying to mend a wound by masking it with a band-aid on top of a band-aid without actually taking care of the wound with antiseptic, right? And by actually cleaning it up profoundly so that it stops bleeding your heart. And so eventually, you also need to remember that when we let a wound heal naturally without a band-aid, the skin on top of that wound grows even stronger than the one that it was before. And this is how our heart works as well. When our heart is free to mend from the past, you develop an unbreakable heart. How powerful is that? What great potential of a miracle is this? The power of love, literally. Because in order to heal from a past heartbreak, the ironic part of it is that the only thing that's going to heal it is love. And this love can come from anywhere. Obviously healthy-wise, right? And for the right reasons. Bonding for the right reasons. High vibrational reasons. Loving yourself. This is why I always recommend anybody who's going through heartbreaks or through any kind of separation or even just healing from the past in general, that you spend time alone, literally, without any attachment in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, emotionally. Because then you're truly free to experience a new story. And that's the whole theme and the basic mythology behind Miami U 10-week intensive soul coaching program. It's about building a new story, even a new timeline, a new reality. And this can only be done through love. So let us sit down today and let us just talk a little deeper about this love theme, because we are all one love and we all need to embody more love right now and actually express it in the way that we walk, in the way that we talk, in the way that we react to any kind of situation around us, even to the people in power or in leadership, rather than judge and just sit back and hide, judging even more. Choose to be courageous enough to see the love in the situation, love them for where they're at, accept it, and then that naturally becomes transmuted into healing energy. Okay, so let's get comfortable and let's see what else I wrote today in this little notebook of mine, because I wrote notes yesterday before I began this event. Let me read to you this. We are currently in a transition period towards a new path. It's rocky, it's unstable, it's unknown, but it's better than you can imagine. New Earth is on its way. Are you willing to make that jump? That leap of faith in love? Many people choose to settle in relationships because they don't believe they're deserving of something great. Or perhaps they don't believe that they deserve to be treated equally, right? So this stems from all the themes that we've been talking about here. Because love begins with literally what's in our immediate environment. Beginning with self, right? We do the things that we do on a daily basis because we love ourselves. We take care of our health because we love ourselves. We take time to repeat our affirmations because we love ourselves. We take the time to meditate and connect to God because we love ourselves. And then when we have someone else in the picture, let's say you have a partner, that partner also loves themselves. If they don't love themselves, it's gonna eventually flow into your aura. And then you'll start picking up on it and questioning your self-worth. And then that's when these two people project off each other. And that's when something once healthy becomes unhealthy, because they bonded for the wrong reasons. They were not healed, and they decided to heal from an unhealed place. So why am I beginning with this little scenario? Because this is a lot of the situations that people are in right now when it comes to romantic relationships. And this is a huge part of being a light worker. Because part of being a light worker is not only being discerning who you choose to be around, but it's about thinking about the bigger picture, right? You need to love yourself enough to walk away from a situation that's dragging you away from your light worker mission. You need to have the courage enough to walk away from a situation that's not treating you like a divine child. You need to have the strength to be with the one that you really love, to do that which you really love. This could relate also to what you do for a living, your purpose, your career, a job that you're in. You have to be willing to love yourself enough to say no and not accept anything less than you deserve. And everybody has the potential to reach this status, this place. And it's all about willingness. It's a choice. And love is such a precious thing, because it's like this little gem, you could say. And that's also how our hearts is, right? Because I'm thinking of this metaphor of trust. Trust is something very fragile, right? Think of like a sheet of paper. This brand new sheet of paper is flawless, and you break the trust of that paper and then it becomes crumbled. Once it's become crumbled, that heart, it's never going to be the same, right? Because you can't iron that paper, it'll burn. So what I'm trying to say is here that we're all going to get hurt on our journey in this life. Everybody's been hurt, okay? But some people choose to react differently. Some people choose to see the past with love and forgive it and move on. And that's when a miracle happens, because God miraculously restores that sheet of paper as it was initially, innocent, like a child that's never been hurt, never been tainted. But that person or soul who chooses to stay in this vengeance mentality or in this dark place of unforgiveness, they're going to continue to rot that heart, because they're going to try and then it gets burnt, right? Like I just said, the metaphor with the iron. They're going to try to mask it by ironing the paper and then it gets burned. So of course, you see the metaphor in this scenario that unforgiveness will never get us to a high vibrational place, whereas forgiveness, compassion, and unconditional love is going to get us to this ultimate paradise. Think of Jesus, like the classic example, right? This is the topic of today because he is the representative of this unconditional love. That's why he came to earth, to teach us this lesson. That was his only mission as he came here down to earth. and incarnated as a human. How many people can follow in his footsteps? That will be left to open, right? That question. Because that's your goal. As much as you can. Of course, have compassion on yourself with all those times that you didn't. But those times that you didn't, look back to that situation and ask yourself, how could I have reacted differently? How could I have been one more step closer to God in that situation if I would have just done this one thing? Or reacted differently? Or been slower to react perhaps? Maybe take a step back and think about it before you say or do anything. Or even think anything, right? We should all be walking around with blank minds. And I know that sounds weird, but that's the very notion of what meditation truly is. It's a blank, empty mind. Many of us walk around chattering in our minds. I, for example, struggled with this for many years until I truly mastered and still mastering my yoga and meditation practice. And it wasn't until I got alone into my own room, into my own space, locked myself, and tried it again with nothing as a distraction, nothing. And that's when I truly found this space of true serenity, true stillness. And that's when God started to speak to me. Because that's where God wants us to all get. It's very difficult in this fast-paced world that we're living in, right? But I challenge you that by taking care of this spiritual alignment, your body, mind, and spirit, you can learn the true art of stillness, of living in the moment. And that's where you also find love. Because when you begin to get into this higher perspective place, your whole perspective changes about everything that happens. Naturally, you're going to be love. You see, the thing about love is that it can't be forced, it can't be faked, right? You're either love or you're not. You're either in love or you're not. Because if you're not in love, that means you're in fear, right? If you're not in your higher self, which is that of love, that means you're in your ego, which is that of fear. That's what the Course in Miracles teaches us, and that's something that I learned in my spiritual book club in the School of Light. So definitely recommend you become a member of my School of Light and start learning about all those things that I learned on my journey. And of course, we're still learning, and I'm going to continue to talk about that book because I love it so much. I'm going to delve even deeper this year. And you see, so that's the thing about love. You're either in the light or in the dark. There's no gray shade to this. It's literally black and white. And if you're in that transition phase, you're still being pulled by the dark, the black part, right? Because the gray is the mix of the white and the dark, but they're not yet at the white, because the white is purity, right? The white is completely clean. The black, you all know, is enmeshed with shadow work. The gray is starting to see the light, is starting to see the possibilities that there are new heights to reach, is starting to see that what they experienced was not love, but rather the opposite of love. And it doesn't mean that that's what their reality is going to be, because they've seen the light, they've seen the love possible, and they're going to be willing to heal, which that's the gray area that most people are in before my program, right? When you, because I help you to get through that gray area and move into the light, into the white. And that's where you find true love, because spiritual love is only attracted by a high vibration. You need to be radiating at such a high vibration that only love is attracted to you. Every experience is transmuted into love. You only see the love. It's like a little child that's so innocent. We all return to that space, and we can all do that. But this requires the opening of our heart again. Being vulnerable to loving again. Being obviously that you've learned your lessons from the past and can clearly see any red flags, right? Because you love yourself so much that you will not fall into something that you know could transpire like something from the past. You see, that's true loving yourself. If you let it repeat itself, then that's when you're not loving yourself. So we become wiser as a result of heartbreaks. So we need to actually give gratitude for these past pains, because they've made us this wise individual and soul that we now are. And now we're seeking spiritual truth. We're seeking God to illuminate us towards this true love that is only available when you're in this high vibration. Because if not, it's kind of like you can't see it because it's fogged up by this sheer curtain, you see. But when you remove that sheer from your eyes and you start to see through your spiritual eye, you can actually recognize the true love staring right back at you in the face all along. It was all around you in your aura. And that's the kind of love that we all need to strive for. That's the kind of spiritual love that is invisible to the eye, but is completely visible to our spiritual eye. So choose to see beyond the visible and choose to see with your heart. And that heart speaking back to you is going to tell you where the love is at, how you can love yourself more. So that quote that says follow your heart is basically so true, obviously, because that's what it means, right? Follow your heart means not listening to your head, not following your head, your logic. This makes sense, so I should love this because it makes sense, or because we're in this thing together, or because everybody wants us to be together, right? That's the whole notion behind arranged marriages back in the day, in the ancient days. It's not about that. We're way beyond that at this time. And this is a good thing because we're moving closer to the true unconditional spiritual love. Not many people are there. There's only a few out there in the world who are in that space. And God wants us all to reach that space. And it's literally blind love in the right way, because this blind love speaks to your soul. And it just calls you, it's just a feeling. And that's when you know that that's the love. And this is the love that heals us. And the exponential power of love as well is that when we're all radiating in this love, and we all come together in this love, Mother Gaia can ascend into this amazing energy high vibration. And this high vibrational energy that we are all being called to is needed right now more than ever. Because love creates miracles, love heals. Love cures all wounds from the past, from the present, and from any potential future ones. So we all need to stay in this love vibration. Embody more love, because love is the day today. Love is the message today. Love, love, love. And I want you to challenge yourself and ask yourself, how can I truly love more? Sometimes true love means letting go as well, right? Letting go and liberating someone, that's true love. If you're holding on to something that doesn't love you back, or something that's not good for you because of ego reasons, then you know that that's not love anyways, right? Because that's not love. Love is pure. Love is good. Love is light. So if there's any emotions that are not radiating on that level attached to that situation or that mentality or that belief, whatever you want to call it, then you just got to ask yourself again, would God call this love? Is there evidence that this is love? Am I acting like this is love? Is this uplifting my spirit, basically? Is this healthy for me? And then you can just answer your own question, right? And once you're able to choose the love, choose yourself, choose God first, that's when you can move into this higher vibration, a new you, a higher reality. Climb the stairway to heaven, per se, and experience a better reality where everything is for the better and everything is fruitful, right? Everything's full of life, full of zest, full of vitality. because that's the true us, and that's the kind of transcendence that we humans need to work on right now, because through this transcendence is how we're going to be able to wake up from this dream, from this nightmare, or wake others up if you're already in your heaven, because it's such a beautiful place, right? Think of like the movie Wonder Woman, right? In the movie The Wonder Woman, these Wonder Womans, these Amazonian women, live in a paradise island. And this paradise island is shielded from the men in the war, right? The people in Germany was the area that the movie was held. And they couldn't see that beautiful paradise island because their spiritual eye was shut. They couldn't see it. It was a veil that was created by their own ego. And of course, you know, after the movie goes on, and yes, they jump over that, right? Because the man crashed into the paradise island. But the metaphor here is that if you're not open enough in your spiritual eye, you're not going to be able to see the potential, the heaven that's available to you, and the true love that's wanting to come into your life, but you're rejecting it for whatever reason, for any setback that's holding you back. And that's up to you to decipher what it is. So check out my new U-Time Intensive Soul Coaching program and choose to heal yourself so that you can let go and move on. Let's see if there's any final words. Love is also something greater than just two people as well. This is the expansion of love, which that's what the Higher Heart Chakra is about, which is a book that I'm working on as well, which I'll talk about it more as I get closer to the publishing of that. But it's a book that I've been working on for the past year and a half, and for the past year. And this Higher Heart Chakra is when you move up a level from your heart chakra. And this is when you can begin to love all things, including all people, wherever they're at, right? Accepting the world for where it is, accepting humanity for where it is, and embodying this higher consciousness, cosmic consciousness, divine consciousness, Christ consciousness. What would Jesus do? How Christ loved everybody. He sacrificed his flesh for all of us. And he continued on the mission work, whether or not he received anything in return. You see, that's what he did here on earth. That's like his legacy that he left, right? And nobody saw it in that moment, in that history timeline, until that judgment moment came. And he was on the cross, and God spoke to all those people that were persecuting him, right? And they realized that they had made a mistake. They realized that they were not acting how they were preaching that they needed to be. They were condemning the one thing that was the most love. And he just sat back and he didn't fight back, right? And true love doesn't fight back because there is no need to prove who is right or wrong, you see? True love is not prideful or boastful, right? And it doesn't envy. And he didn't do any of these things. He didn't pride or boast or brag that he was the Messiah, right? The Son of God. He just already knew, and there was nothing to prove. And that's how it should be in relationships as well. When people come into arguments, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to agree to disagree, right? Because it's okay to disagree. But when people try to prove each other right or wrong, that's when you know that the ego is coming out into the forefront. And that's when you know that's not love talking. And that very notion of the ego is what's creating a barrier between you and love. So we need to be willing to let the ego go and choose love, because ego is based on fear. When one's trying to prove one right, or when one's trying to not forgive, right? That's because there's fear of maybe not feeling lovable, not feeling good enough, not feeling enough, or maybe not feeling good enough. Any reason is a reason of fear, and that's the ego, right? And love is just is. Love is just a feeling. There's no even words to say. You can just be in each other's presence. You can love the world for where it's at, and you can have compassion because you empathize. You choose to see from the other's perspective, and you can forgive. You can forgive for all those who wronged you in the past, and not let that taint your energy. But you choose to stay in the light, and you choose to stay in the love that we initially all want anyways. And not everybody was fortunate enough to grow up in a loving environment, I know that. But that's where we have Mother Mary. That's where we have our angels. That's where we gain mentors along the journey as well, that do give us that love. So we need to be willing as adults to unlearn everything from the past and relearn a new story. Reparent ourselves on our journey and learn to love ourselves truly. So that is your task for this last few months of the year as we begin this new year, 2021. Because your future depends on if you're willing to truly love or not. And this love, with the big capital L-O-V-E, is the key right now to creating miracles on earth. So the more miracles that we can all spark up in our own little lives, the bigger the revolutionary change. And that's how I'm going to end this Lightworker University event 2020. Whew. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening to these words. And I'm very humble right now. And I'm just grateful to the divine for just illuminating me with whatever words I spoke, because I was really nervous actually to do this. And I have actually been postponing this for quite some time because I wasn't even thinking that I was capable of just coming on here again. I feel like it's so weird because I just needed a break, right? Because I had done a lot of work in the past first year of my mission work that I kind of like just outworded myself and just did a lot of work behind the scenes in my School of Light, especially my programs. And now the divine has been preparing me for a fresh new beginning. And it all starts here with these messages and with this program that's been upgraded, because I already taught that program twice. And I've upgraded it for all of you all because it was needed. And I've matured on my journey as well as a spiritual leader, still working on mastering my own self and this mission and getting things done, right? And this requires patience, compassion, and love for ourselves. Being kind for where we at with what our body's telling us, and listening to our soul. Taking the time for ourselves, for our spirit to recharge, okay? So thank you all, and definitely follow me on my Body, Mind, and Spirit Health and Wellness brand. And I also do a lot of work in Spanish and French. I post daily quotes and a daily podcast, a message of the day that's in English, spoken in the podcast, and in Spanish, but it's all in the written form in all three of my Instagrams. And the spiritualcounseling.tv Instagram is the main Instagram page for my business of the Spiritual Counseling TV Network. Please become a member of my Spiritual Counseling TV Network for your daily morning spiritual guidance. Every morning I come on with like 3 to 5 minutes of some good spiritual fuel for all of you to start your morning right. An affirmation of the day as well, and angel messages, and I do also therapy sessions where I help you to recover from trauma, any addictions, getting you past this fear and into love. We do a lot of psychology healing work based on my psychology career. And then when you become a member of my School of Light, you have access to my spiritual book club, different lectures that I've done in the past, and I will be doing new ones, mindset talks which are based on evolutionary psychology, and so many more amazing things that I'm being guided to do there. My Ancient Wisdom podcast. So definitely become a member and join me on those platforms. Everything is on my website, ChristyRamirez.com. And definitely also join my challenges on my mobile app that you can download. If you go to my homepage, you're going to see a banner with the option of downloading the app, and that's where you can find me and then download the challenges, and you can participate so that you can stay on track on a daily basis. Such as for my spiritual book club, I have a 7-day spiritual lifestyle challenge as well, and a learn to meditate in 6 weeks challenge, which is based on when you purchase my program, the mindful meditation program. You can join that challenge for free, and I walk you through each phase. It's really amazing, and it's a beautiful paradise beach that I did the location in, so you're gonna really enjoy it. It's very much based on this transcendental mindful meditation that I've been learning and integrating in my life a few times a week, or even just once a week if you have a little bit of time. But as long as you get it in, that's the important thing, making it a part of the new you as we move into this new world. So thank you all for having me today. My name is Christy Ramirez, and lots of love and light. May you experience the evolution of your soul journey. Namaste.